Our problem up vertically and by place value. Make sure that you have your ones place lined up. So the first thing that we do is we look at the ones place. I have a 3 in my ones place on top and an 8 in my ones place on the floor. So if there's more on the floor, go next door. We're going to have to regroup because we can't take 8 from 3. 3 is less than 8. So since 8 is more, we go next door. So we're moving over to the tens place. So here we are at the tens place. The first thing we need to do is take 110 from the tens place. So I'm going to model our number 123 that we are subtracting from. There is my 100, my 2 tens, and my 3 ones. So 123. I've just discovered I cannot subtract my 8 ones yet because I don't have enough to take away. So I'm going to borrow a 10 and it is going to move over to the ones place. So now I'm going to move it to the ones place. I will continue to keep my 100 in my hundreds place. Now, I'm keeping a 10 in the tens place. So I'm left with 110, and I have just moved the other 10 over to the ones place. And I have my 3 ones. So we have 1 less 10 now because it's been moved over to the ones place. So now I have to break the 10 into 10 ones. So there's my 100, my 10 that remains in the tens place. And remember, this is my 10 that I have carried over to my ones place with my 3 ones. Well, I can't have a 10 in the ones place. I have to break it up into ones. There are 10 ones in 110. So 10 ones equals a 10. So I'm going to now represent the 10 with my 10 ones. Okay, so now I've broken my 10 up into 10 ones. And I have my 3 ones that I began with. If I add all of those together, I now don't have 3 ones anymore. I now have 13 ones because we have 10 more ones from borrowing the 10 next door. So now I'm ready to subtract my ones place. Because I was able to regroup, I now have 13 ones and I am subtracting 8. Well, 13, if there's more on top, no need to stop. So I am ready to subtract. So I can take 8 away from 13. And 13 ones minus 8 ones is going to give me 5 because 13 minus 8 equals 5. So now I am ready to subtract my tens. I had 1 10 left over here, and I am subtracting 1 10. Well, if I cross it out, 1 minus 1 is 0. I don't have any more tens. And now I subtract my hundreds. Well, I have a 100 up here, and I don't have any hundreds in the number 18, so my 100 is just going to come down, and I have 105. So 123 minus 18 equals 105. All right, now we're doing 3 digits minus 3 digits. We lined our problem up vertically, lined it up by place value. And of course, I look at my ones place. I have 6 ones on top in the number 256, and I have 7 ones on the floor in the number 227. Well, when I look at that, I can see that 6 is less than 7, and 7 is more than 6. Well, if there's more on the floor, we have to go next door. 7 is more than 6, so we can't take 7 away from 6. We have to go to the place value next door, which is the tens place, and we're going to borrow a 10 and regroup. So here we are in the tens place. We're going to take 110 from the tens place. So here I'll model my number. I have 200. And then I have 5 tens. And I have 6 ones. And I am going to borrow a 10 and move it over to the ones place so that I am going to be able to subtract 7, because right now I can't take 7 away from 6. All right, so I'm going to move it to the ones place, which means I have my 200s, and remember we moved this 10 over. So now we have 4 10s remaining in the tens place. And we now have a 10 that has moved over to join us in the ones place with the 6 ones that we already began with. So we have 1 less 10. We've got 4 10s left. So now we've got to break that 10 up that we just moved over to the ones place. Still have my 200s. I have my 4 10s that remain. And then I have my 10 that I moved over to the ones place and my 6 ones. So now it's time to break that 10 up into 10 ones, because 10 ones equals 110. Okay, so now I have my 10 ones. Oh, accidentally clicked an extra one there. There we go. Now I have my 10 ones and my 6 ones that I started with. And when we add our 10 ones that we've borrowed from the tens place and our 6 ones we started with, we now have a total of 16 ones. So we've got 10 more ones because 6 plus 10 is 16. Okay, now we are able to subtract the ones because the 16 is on top, and if the number on top is more, there's no need to stop. So we can take 7 away from 16. 16 minus 7 is going to give me 9. And I can cross out my 7 ones. And you'll see that we are left with those 9 ones we brought down here. Now it's time for me to subtract my tens. Well, I have 4 tens and I'm subtracting 2 tens. So I'm going to take 2 away. 4 minus 2 is going to give me 2. So I have 2 tens left. And now I can subtract my hundreds. I have 2 hundreds up top and I am taking away 2 hundreds. So 2 minus 2 would give me 0. But since, see how this 0 is at the beginning of my number, I don't need to put that 0 there because it's still 29 even without that 0 in front of it. And my difference is going to be 29. So 256 minus 227 equals 29.